Hello. So for this grass, it isn't actually a grass I'm basing it off, it's a piece of bamboo. But I'm going to call it a grass, just because I can. So we're going to use an actual piece of living plant to model our next part of the bouquet on. So continuing, reach down on the floor to get it. Continuing with the 1.2mm 18 gauge iron wire, and again you can use whatever wire you like, and if you're practicing, maybe some thinner wire, because this is quite thick. It's you know, takes some handling. It's also very dirty to use, so you know, don't wear your best clothes when handling iron wire. It can be quite mucky. So what we're going to attempt to do is just basically look at this, look at the shape of it. We're going to do 3 leaves and a stem. So I should just leave that to one side as a guideline. The tools we'll need to make this today, I think, will just be the side cutters or any form of snipper that you can cut the wire with, and a pair of chain nose pliers. These don't have much grip. I actually might swap these over in a minute if I can find them for the ones that got a bit of grip, but we'll see how we get on. So sometimes you can get them with really smooth inner surface, great for jewellery, doesn't mark the wire so much, but the ones with grip on, the serrated edge inside, serrated teeth in there, helps you grip the wire so much more easily, but it does mark the wire, especially aluminium wire. Okay, so what we're going to do with this is we're going to start with the centre leaf. We're going to start with the centre leaf. So effectively we want to have enough wire to come up to the top and back down again to start. So, and some left over. So if you can see what I'm doing there, I'm going to probably have about, I don't know, 10 centimetres, 3-4 inches left over wire. That's the bottom of the leaf and that's the top. And I'm just going to mark that with my fingers, and with the pliers hold the wire and bend it back in on itself, using my fingers to smooth and stroke out and try and get a bit of a curve. Hasn't got to be exact, we're just trying to make a grassy shape. I think I'll make it a little bit narrower than that, so we'll just pinch those in, pinch that top in just a fraction with the pliers. We can always pull it back out. So we've got the roughly the shape of our leaf there. Mine's a bit fatter than, doesn't matter, we can make it thinner than, whatever you wish, but I think about there looks good. So I'm going to eyeball or mark with my fingers where that wire is going to join that wire by putting a very small angle in it, just so we know where we're going to bend the wire around that stem. And grab both wires just to hold them still, and with my thumb I'm going to push that wire around the bottom and around. Oops. Tell you, that's why I said to you, when you've got the gripping, the ones with grips on, they're much better. So to start again, hold that as firmly as we can. It's just so I can hold it still. So with this hand I can wrap the wire around the stem just a couple of times, and then I'll cut that off like that. And I'm just going to bend that little bit of wire, end of wire in, so it doesn't stick out and catch anybody. Okay, so now we have our first leaf. So directly where this wire joins, I'm going to bend up like that. If you need to use your thumb and finger to smooth the wire out, do so. I'm going to use this as a rough guide to measure. That's where I want the top of my leaf. I'm going to use the pliers to hold the wire and bend sharp back in, pinch it at the top just to bring that nice sharp end to the leaf, and then smooth that round. Now I'm not going to bother tying anything in here just yet. I'm going to come to the bottom of this here and bend that round. Just mark it with the pliers and bend that back round that way. We're going to do the third leaf. pinch it with the pliers, bend it sharp back in on itself, pinch the top, nice defined point on it, and it's almost naturally curving in. So now we've got our 3 leaves. The slightly fiddly bit is, bend that bit, we can always smooth out the leaves afterwards as well. We've got our 3 leaves there, but we need to stop it doing that. So there's 2 things you can do. You could use very thin wire and just wrap around and anchor that off, or keeping on with this same thicker wire, the 18 gauge wire, hold where that's going to touch the bottom of that leaf, pinch that with the pliers, and that's just going to hold this wire. Now we can wrap it around. I'm going to bend it up, it's a bit fiddly to explain and to show, but you're just going to use the pliers to hold things steady, and that wire needs to go over the top. It's difficult to know where to hold on to. I think that leaf there. Maybe no, I'll hold it there. It's a bit awkward. I've done this for a while. There we go. Right, hold that wire steady, and I'm going to bend it. This is where you need like 3 pairs of hands. Round that base of that leaf. Oops, keep hold of it. Push it tight with my fingers. We're nearly there. And then I'm going to come back up and around and over between that one. Like that. You can pinch it in with the pliers, get it nice and flat. And take that round to the back, tight as you can. Tight as you can, to form a nice knot for the 3 leaves. There you go. And afterwards you can use your pliers and your fingers to straighten out any bends and kinks that you don't want showing. And flatten that a bit. And yeah, there's a bit of a knot there, but that's okay. It looks good. I'm fine with that. Centre that stem up a little bit. And then we cut the stem off and its base down here somewhere. You can always trim the stems later as well. Now, there we have a nice leafy grass type shape. If you want to go one step further, you could stop here now if you want. If you want to go one step further and make it even more detailed, you get your 0.5mm wire, which I believe is 24 gauge. I've got a great big reel of it here, so I'm not going to cut it off the reel yet. So we've got the end of the wire. I'm going to start at this one, top of the leaf, just about 1 inch or so, a couple of centimetres, enough to wrap around the top of that leaf 2 or 3 times, just so long as it's secure. But make sure the end goes back down and in towards the leaf before you cut it off, so that there's no sharp points sticking out of your leaf. And pinch that in with the pliers just to really push it in. And then you can just touch it with your finger, and if you find it scratchy or sharp, just keep pushing it in until you can't really feel it anymore. So now we've got the top of the vein attached, the vein of the leaf that is. I'm sort of doing one line to come down like that. I'm going to go in behind actually because it suits the leaf. I will pull that tight, go around a couple of times with the wire to anchor it off, and then I'm going to come and do this leaf this side, and I'm going to cut off the wire about 1 inch or so above the leaf. and do the same thing. Get it straight, that is. Go. Hold it there with one hand while the other hand, it's a bit awkward because you're trying to bend something around a curve, but it is doable with a little bit of manipulation. You just try and keep that as tight as possible. Get a couple of turns in at the end of that leaf there. Bend it back round towards the back of the leaf and in. Cut the end off. That. And just pinch that in so you can't feel anything sharp sticking out. It's not too bad. I can still feel it, but it's not too bad. And you can, if you need to, you can manipulate the wire. So now we've got 2 of the veins in, and the last one, carrying on with the thin wire, we're going to do the same thing. Attach it to the top of the leaf by holding it and wrapping around that point there 2 or 3 times. The key is to try and get as tight a first turn as you can, then it holds it in place. Go around twice. Turn it towards the back. Cut off the excess. And then that's a bit loose, that whole loop, so I'm just going to tighten that up with the pliers. Like that. Feels good. And this one's going to come straight down the middle. And I'm going to cut the thin wire because I don't need a lot of it. I'm going to cut it about 10 centimetres long of the leaf itself. Ah, I see I've done something wrong there. I was supposed to have wrapped that better around the bottom. It's not a problem because I can do it with this bit of wire. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to wire wrap round the base of the leaf, all the way around the bottom of it. And because this one's come out of where it should be, I'm also going to wire wrap around the base of that leaf a couple of times, and then I'll probably go around that one a couple of times. There we go. That should look quite good. One more time round, and then I can cut the excess off. Just go around the stem a couple of times like that. Cut the excess off. There's not much there. Use your fingers to find out where the sharp point is, and then just bend that in. That's pretty good. Just bend that in so you can't feel it. There we go. And we have a very nice bamboo-y grass shape to add to our bouquet. I think 2 or 3 of them in a bouquet would look lovely. So, what do you think? Not too bad, huh? And if you need to, say, you can just manipulate the wires if they've come out of place a little bit. When we spray painted these, it will hold the wires in even better because it will sort of glue them together. But there we go. We have a bamboo grass shape. Thank you for watching.